Hello lovely ones, welcome to your practice. So today we're going to release tension and tightness in the hips and the lower back. Yay, I really need this actually. This area of the body needs regular maintenance, I think. So you're going to enjoy it, whether you row or cycle, spend a lot of time walking, running, hiking, or just living life. So you're not going to need any props. We're going to release the glutes, the hamstrings, the hip flexors, enjoy some really lovely side bends, twists, and lunges. So let's start in child's pose today. We're going to come into two different variations of child's pose to begin with. So let's start with the knees closer toward one another, hips back towards the heels, and we'll come forward with the arms alongside the body, palms facing upwards. So just take a moment to settle in here, and if your knees are not happy in child's pose, then my invitation is for you to just flip it upside down, come and lay on your back and hug the knees into the chest. It's exactly the same shape, just turned the other way around. And let's just take 2 or 3 deeper, fuller breaths. And as you do this, breathe or direct the awareness in the breath into the low back ribs. And if it feels good for you to gently rock the forehead side to side, right to left, you might enjoy that. And you might also add a gentle rock or a sway of the hips, right to left, left to right. Let's take another breath here. And if you're gently rocking side to side, find center. And we'll bring the hands forward under the shoulders, gently press the mat away, come upright. And now we'll come into child's pose with the knees about as wide as the mat, the big toes touching, and this time we'll reach the arms forward into what is sometimes called extended child's pose. And if you are a beautiful yogi who is laying on their back for this part of the practice, now you can start to open the knees a little out to the side here as you recline. And for those of us that are in the child's pose with the knees separated a little wider, notice how this one has a slightly different quality to it. The spine is longer. It's a little less. There's a little less flexion of the spine. And see if you could start to really walk the hands and the fingers forward. So there's some activity now through the arms and the upper body. Gently anchoring through the hands and inviting the forearms and the elbows to lift away from the mat. And then let's press the hands down, lift the head, and we'll start to walk the hands off to the right side, coming into a gentle side bend here. So walking hands and torso to right, and it doesn't matter so much if your right arm is a little bit bent, but really reach through that left arm. So you've got lots of length through the left side of the body. Breathing into the left side ribs. Countering the reach of the left arm with a heaviness and a weightedness of the left hip. And we'll move back through center and gently over to the second side, walking the hands and the torso just a little to the left and really reaching through the right arm now. And let's come back to center for a moment. And if you're reclining on your back, staying there, just another breath or two. And as we return to center in child's pose, just pause here, feeling the evenness now on either side of the waist. And then we'll gently inhale, lift the head and rise up onto the knees, shift the weight forward. And let's meet in tabletop. Step the hands under the shoulders, bring the knees hip width distance. If you were reclining, just rolling to a side and pressing yourself up, meeting here. And from all fours, let's lift the tail and allow the belly to drop down towards the mat and the chest to draw forward into cow pose. We won't be back bending so much today. Okay, so this is going to be our main back bend. We'll come back to it a few times. Cow pose. And then on the exhale, let's tuck the toes and lift the hips and come into a downward dog. Take a moment to arrive, and in a moment we're going to start to play with a few variations of downward dog so we can really start to open up through the lateral part of the hip and the side of the thigh here. So find down dog with the feet hip width distance apart. Bend the left knee and straighten the right leg, and just pause here. Now the left leg is not going to move, it's just going to stay exactly the same. But the right leg, the leg that is straight, will turn the right toes out about 45 degrees, pivot the right heel in and down onto the mat, and then swivel the hips and the torso to the right and look underneath the right armpit. And let's return to center, downward facing dog. Gently lower the knees to the mat. Slide the hips back towards the heels, child's pose. Inhale now and we'll rise to all fours. Ripple through the spine. Little back bend, cow pose. And exhale, curl the toes under, shift the weight back and up into downward facing dog. And let's take that variation of down dog on the second side. So now right knee bends, left leg straight, pause. Doesn't matter if the left heel doesn't touch the mat, that's okay. Right leg stays exactly as it is, but we turn the left toes out a little bit now. Left heel turns in and down onto the mat. And keep pressing into the hands, lifting the hips up and back as you swivel the hips and the torso to the left a little, looking underneath the left arm. And we'll return to center, lower the knees to the mat, slide the hips back towards the heels, child's pose. Then we'll inhale all fours, little back bend, cow pose. And exhale back, downward facing dog. So let's take one more variation of downward dog. Same beginning, left knee bends, right leg straight. Pivot the right foot out a little, right toes turn out 45 degrees, right heel turns in and down on the mat. Start to swivel the hips and the torso to the right. So you might stay here doing just exactly the same as you did earlier. Or you might pick up the left hand and reach it across to take a hold of the outside of the right shin. And if that feels challenging for you, then you can walk the hands back a little closer to the feet and then reach the left arm back. Left hand holding outer right shin, right calf. And then let's release, come back to down dog, lower the knees, slide the hips back towards the heels, brief child's pose. Inhale, rise, little back bend, arching through the spine, heart forward, gaze forward. And exhale, last time back to down dog for now. Right knee bends, left leg straight. Left toes turn out about 45 degrees. And we'll swivel the hips and the torso to the left. Feel free to step the hands in a little closer to the feet before you pick up the right hand and reach it across to the outside of the left lower leg. And then we'll let that go. Both hands to the mat. Lovely. Okay, beautiful ones. Let's go ahead now and step right foot forward between the hands. Frame the front foot with the hands, or you might have the hands up on blocks here, especially if you know that you're tighter through the backs of the legs. Let's take a deep breath in. Draw the chest forward, shoulders sliding down the back away from the ears. And as you exhale, start to straighten through the front leg and just gently fold. This is a lovely way to invite release into the hamstrings here, through the back of the right thigh. And you might just pulse a few times, bending the front knee and re-straightening. And the next time the front knee's bent, let's keep it bent and lower the left knee down onto the mat. And bring both hands up onto the front thigh. So let's let the hips shift nice and heavy today. So melt forward and down. Let them be kind of heavy and low. Reaching up through the left arm, the left fingertips. And you might keep right hand on the thigh and lean up and over to the right like this. Or you might bring right hand down to the floor or a block and lean up and over to the right. One more in breath. And on the out breath, let's release that. Both hands to the mat. And now bring your front foot out to the right. Wriggle it out to the right. Turn the right toes out a little bit so you're in a wider stance. And both hands are now inside the front foot. As we shift the hips forward and down, we come into lizard lunge. Feel free to have a little wiggle here of the hips, side to side, or sway of the shoulders. And perhaps you choose to stay up on the hands today or come down onto one forearm or both forearms. Save room for breath always. And whether you're on one forearm or both forearms or are still up on both hands, let's tuck the back toes under and lift the back knee up. Back leg strong. Sole of back foot reaching back. And we'll add a twist here. So let's turn to the right and reach the right arm to the sky. So you might not be down on the left forearm. You might prefer to stay up on the left hand. Either is just beautiful. We'll exhale and bring left hand down, or rather right hand down to the mat. Come back up onto the left hand if you're on the forearm and step back, down dog. Take a moment, bicycle through the legs a little, wag the tail. And let's go straight into second side. So this is kind of a long lunging series. I think it's quite juicy. I hope you do too. So left foot forward between the hands. Hands on blocks or fingertips on the mat. And see if you can keep that back thigh really strong and lifted. Sometimes I see that there's a sort of a sagging of the pelvis down and a dropping of that back thigh. But invite a little bit of levity and buoyancy here. Back leg strong. Take an in-breath. And just a few times at your own pace. Straightening the front leg, the left leg, any amount. Bowing over the leg. And rebending. Pulsing through the front leg. This movement, this pulsing movement, mirroring the ebb and flow of the breath, like waves in the ocean or tides in the ocean. And the next time the front knee is bent, Let's keep it bent. Lower the back knee to the mat. Both hands to front thigh to begin with. And let the hips just soften forward and down. And we reach the right arm up. Lots of aliveness through the fingertips. Reaching up through the fourth finger and the middle finger here. And we'll gently lean over towards the left side. Maybe left hand stays on the thigh. Maybe left hand comes to the floor or a block outside that left leg, but not pushing, not straining, not forcing, especially with side bends. We don't want to tweak the lower back. We're just looking for release. Last in breath. We'll exhale. Both hands down to mat. Let's widen the stance again. Come into our lizard lunge, left foot wide. Left toes turned out. Hands inside the front foot now. And hips forward and down. Arriving here, making any sort of intuitive, instinctive movement that feels good for you. Nothing has to be static in these practices. And maybe you lower onto one forearm or both forearms. And if you feel like you're kind of halfway between the two, then maybe you bring the forearms onto blocks instead. And we'll tuck the back toes and lift the back knee. Everything that's in contact with the mat right now, the front foot, the ball of the back foot, and the forearms or the hands, pressing the mat away. And then let us turn to the left, reaching left fingertips up to the sky. Let's exhale. Bring both hands back down onto the mat. Coming up onto the hands. And let's step back. Downward facing dog. So I want to give you some space here, about 5 breaths or so, just to find some lovely movement that feels good for you. So if you'd like to take a vinyasa, or if you'd like to take a moment in child's pose, you can. I'm going to lower to all fours today and just sway the hips a little side to side, drawing figures of 8. So another 4 breaths or so here, just to explore movement that feels delicious, nourishing, wholesome for you. And wherever you are, let's meet back in downward facing dog. Hips up and back. Okay, so we've done a lunging series. Now let's take a pigeon pose series for the outer hip and also for the lower back. We'll take a few variations of pigeon today. So let's start with the right leg, right knee forward, behind the right wrist into pigeon. And just bear with me, stay up on the hands for now. Okay, and if pigeon's not for you today, come and lay back, right ankle to left thigh, figure 4, and a little rock side to side. And just stay here, and I'll tell you what's coming next for you if you're reclining. And those of us that are in pigeon pose, walking the hands just as far as is comfortable for you, for your lower back, in a little closer to the hips. Lift the chest so you're in a little back bend here, and you can take a little rock, side to side. Something really soothing and softening and relaxing about allowing yourself to rock or sway a little. And then those of us that are in the pigeon pose will lower onto the forearms. Careful not to collapse here. Often I see everyone comes down onto the forearms and they're like, oh, good. And then they sort of collapse between the shoulders. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, but today, Still keeping an awakeness here, pressing the forearms down, lifting the chest, drawing it forward. And then we'll walk our forearms diagonally away from our front leg. So walking the forearms diagonally off to the left. If you're still laying on your back in figure 4, just enjoying it there, staying there another few breaths. And those of us here in the pigeon pose, we're now facing diagonally forward and to the left, as though we're, facing towards the left corner of your space or your room or your yoga mat. And keep your left forearm where it is, but your right arm, the arm that's on the inside, that's closest to your right knee, your front knee, let's reach that away on the floor. So slide the right arm diagonally away in that same trajectory, diagonally away to the left. And as you reach through the right arm, counter that a little bit by allowing that right hip to be heavy, reaching in the opposite direction to the arm. Another couple of breaths here. Enjoying the length through the right side of the body. And if you're reclining in figure 4 right now, let's keep the legs in the same shape, but let go. Bring the left foot down onto the mat, open the arms, and swing the legs over to the left. Sole of right foot coming to the floor, right knee to sky, and taking the twist here in this figure 4 shape. And those of us in pigeon pose, let's come back up onto the forearms. Walk the forearms back to center. Last variation, we'll bend the back knee and pick up the back foot. And this might be where you choose to stay here. You're still getting some lovely length through the front of that left thigh, the left quadriceps. And if you've got the space, you might reach the right arm. So opposite hand to foot, back to hold the pinky toe side of the foot. Press the foot into the hand and lean the torso back into the space behind you. And if you can't quite reach the foot, you're welcome to reach the hand back toward the foot or bring the fingertips onto the floor outside your right knee. Lift the chest and turn here. So you're inviting a lovely twist into your pigeon pose. It's really nice to invite different variation to pigeon pose so you can access slightly different areas of the body, and in particular of the outer hip, the outer compartment of the hip. Okay, so let's release that now. If you're reclining, come out of that twist, release the legs, hug the knees into the chest. And if you're in pigeon pose, let's come up onto the hands, curl the back toes under, and lift the hips up and back. And straight to second side, wonderful ones. So left knee forward, right leg long, reaching straight back behind the right hip. Staying up on the hands to begin with and enjoying the back bend. As I mentioned, there's not so much spinal extension, meaning back bending, in the practice today. So we'll enjoy it while we've got it. And if you're lying on your back, bring left ankle to right thigh, figure 4, and a little rock side to side. And if you're reclining, staying there, softening into the pose. You might even close your eyes. And those of us in pigeon pose, let's come down onto the forearms again, remembering we won't be collapsing and melting towards earth today. Gently filling the space between the shoulder blades and the upper back and drawing the heart forward. And then we'll walk the forearms over to the right. So we're walking diagonally away from the front leg. And start to reach through that left arm. Such a lovely way to open up through the side body, which can offer a really nice deep sense of release in the lower back too. Staying here, just a handful more breaths. And those of us that are laying back, you can start to journey into the twist when you're ready. Keep the legs in the same shape, but let the right foot come back down to earth. And let the legs swivel and fall to the right. And if you can, anchor that left foot down as you press the left knee away from the face, lifting it up towards the ceiling. And spread your wings. Thread your wings into the twist. And those of us in pigeon pose, let's gently come back to the forearms and come back to center. We'll bend the back knee and lift the back foot. You might stay here, or you might turn and reach left hand. So left hand and right foot, opposite hand to foot, back to hold the foot. And it's always nice to press, rather than being heavy and low, today press that right forearm into the mat. So you lift the chest up, and then you'll get a lovely sense of ability and space to turn to the left and lean a little bit back into the supportive space. You've always got the option of having left fingertips on the floor instead, or just reaching the hand back. Right, we've all got different proportions and we're definitely not symmetrical, so each side will be different. And then let's release, beautiful ones. Come back up onto the hands. Those of us reclining, coming back to center, and then hugging the knees into the chest again. We'll come back to downward facing dog and just take a breath or two here. This is our last down dog of the practice, so just make it what you need it to be. We'll lower the knees to the mat, and let's cross the ankles, sit the hips back, and we'll slide the legs forward in front of us. So if you are laying back, come and meet us sitting now in Dandasana, legs out long. Sometimes it can be really hard to find length in the spine if the pelvis is rolling backwards. So we might be quite tight in the back of the hip and it's hard to sit tall. So if that feels like the case for you, come and sit your hips up on a folded blanket. And then we'll bend our left knee, left foot to mat. And you can keep the left foot on the same side or step it across to the outside of the right leg. And really, not too much technique today. Let's just turn into it. Right arm hugs left knee, left hand steps behind you. And if you prefer to hook the elbow today, right fingertips up to sky, you can do that. We've done a little bit of twisting already and releasing through the outer hip. So this seated twist probably feels, hopefully, just right, like the body's perfectly prepared to enjoy it with ease. Let's just take one more breath here. And then we'll release, come back, journey back to center, stretch that left leg out, and we'll move to second side. Right knee bends. No need to bring the heel in really close to the sitting bone today. It can be a looser twist. It's much kinder for the hip joint. And maybe you step the foot across to the outside of the left leg and journey in. And this age-old yoga teacher cue of inhaling and lengthening I think is still a lovely one. So lengthening up on the inhale and enjoying the twist on the exhale. The more length you have, the more space you create to turn and just enjoy that spinal rotation. Beautiful. Okay, let's release, let it go. And to close today, I'm really wanting to keep this one 30-minute practice. So to close today, let's bring soles of feet together, knees wide, Baddha Konasana, or legs in this wide V shape for Upavista Konasana. And we'll just gently ease forward down the middle. Find that first edge, nudge of sensation. And you might just sway a little side to side. And let's just take 3 deep breaths here together. And you might join me by inhaling through the nose and exhaling out of the mouth. 2 more. Breathing in, breathing out. Last one. Full inhalation, full exhalation. Next in breath, coming up out of your forward fold, whichever one you chose. Support the legs, right? Support the knees to draw them back into center. Wrap the arms around the shins, tuck the chin a little, give yourself an enormous cuddle. You deserve it. And then we'll release. Just find a comfortable seat. Sit comfortably. Doesn't have to look like a yogi that's been meditating in a cave for 15 years. And let's inhale. Reach the arms up. Draw the palms together. And exhale. Draw the hands down through center to the heart. And just notice. Notice how you feel. Notice what's changed. Thank you, beautiful ones, so much for sharing your practice. I love practicing with you, and I hope that was enjoyable. Have a beautiful rest of your week, your day. Sending you all my love. Thanks for practicing all the way to the end. Every practice I offer is possible thanks to the support of my patrons. So if you'd like to continue to support me as well as access full-length practices, meditations and pranayama, then sign up on Patreon. Thanks.